Module 17 review. Lesson 17.1. Draw an angle with a given measure in standard position. All right, negative 420 degrees. Where's that at? Let's start here. 0 degrees. And then this is negative 90 degrees. Negative 180 degrees. Negative 270 degrees. Negative 360 degrees. So negative 420 is going to be in here. And I'm going to say about 60 degrees in there. So put it about right there. All right. So we start here and we go all the way around back to there. Theta equals negative 420 degrees. 405 degrees. Okay. Negative, we went clockwise. Positive, we're going to go counterclockwise. So let's see here. 360 minus 360 minus 405. That's going to be 45 degrees. Okay, so 45 degrees is going to be halfway between 0 and 90. So that's going to be right in there. And if you did like I did a minute ago, you would have said 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, 360 degrees, and then there you go. So we go here, we go back around to there, and we say theta equals 405 degrees. Negative 450 degrees, so we're going to start here, 0 degrees, negative 90 degrees, negative 180 degrees, negative 270 degrees, negative 360 degrees, and then another 90 would be right there. So our terminal side is going to be the negative portion of the y-axis, and that's going to be right there. Okay, so we start here, we go back around to right there, and so theta equals negative 450 degrees. All right, good deal. So let's look at number 4. It says find the measure of a positive angle and a negative angle that are coterminal with each given angle. All right, first let me get me a little room here to write on. Let's do it down here. All right. And I need to make me a circle here, a unit circle, so I can figure out where all of these things are. And I want a clear one. And we'll say right there. All right, so what do we got? Find the measure. We need to first find 425 degrees. So let's see, that's going to be 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. So let's take 425 minus 360, and that gives us 65 degrees. So that's going to be up in here somewhere. And we're going to say it's about right up in there. Okay. So how far is it from here to here? Okay, that's going to be 425 degrees minus 360 degrees, and that's going to give you 65 degrees, right? That's what we found on the calculator a minute ago, right? Yep, 65. So our first one is 65 degrees. All right. Now, what about going from here back around to there? How many is that? Okay, so we're going to take 65 degrees, and we're going to subtract 360 degrees from that. And what do we get? 65 minus 360, and we get negative 295 degrees. So our other angle is negative 295 degrees. All right, that's not bad. And let's clear this up a little bit and see if we can do us another one. All right. Well, without hitting everything, I guess I'm going to hit everything anyway. All right, clear that up. And let's try number 5. Put my lines back in there. And there we go. All right, negative 316 degrees. Negative 316 degrees. So that's going to go this way here. So I'm going to take 360, subtract 316. Was that it? 360 minus 316, I get 44 degrees. Well, I know that that's just shy of halfway, so we'll put that right there. Okay, so going this way here around to there, that is negative 316 degrees. If I go from here to here, that's going to be 44. Well, that's going to be 44 degrees. That's going to be 360 minus 316, and that gives you 44 degrees. So let's put 44 degrees here. 44 degrees. Now, what about going the other way? Well, we're going to have to go all the way around, okay? And then back around here. So let's see. That's going to be, we started there, we went there. We started here, and we went all the way around. So that's going to be negative 360 degrees. And once we were here, then we went back up like that. So it's going to be minus 316 degrees. All right, so negative 360 minus 316, and that gives you negative 676 degrees. Negative 676 degrees. All right, let's try negative 18 or negative 800. That's our next one, negative 800. Where's that going to be at? Number 6, negative 800. Let me put my axes back up. So 800 degrees, negative 800. So if we go around once, that's 360, around twice, that's 720, and then 80 more degrees, that's not a whole lot less than 90 degrees there. So we'll say that's going to be right there. All right, so that is theta equals negative 800 degrees. Okay, there's my terminal side there. All right, first, let's do a positive angle, and we're gonna go from here around to there. Okay, so that's gonna be let's see here, 360 minus 80, right? And that's going to be what? 360 minus 80, I'm getting like 280. 360 minus 80, 280 degrees. So our first one is going to be 280 degrees. All right. Now I can also go straight from here to here. Okay. And that's just going to be negative 80 degrees. All right. Yeah, that's getting easier, I believe. I believe it's getting a tad easier. I believe it is. All right. And let's put my axes back up. We'll do number 7. And number 7. All right, I want you to stop the video on your own and see what you come up with. And then when you get back, I'll have the answers for you, or I'll have a couple answers for you. Glad you're back. I came up with 641 degrees and negative 79 degrees. All right, let's do the same thing for number 8. I got 356 degrees and negative 364 degrees. And number 9, I got 23 degrees and negative 337 degrees. All right, good job. And let's try number 10. It says convert each measure from degrees to radians or from radians to degrees. All right, let's first get us a little, whoa, we don't want that. We don't want that. We want the block. Let's get us some, because we're going to have to do some arithmetic. All right, number 10. Number 10. Convert from degrees to radians or from radians to degrees. So I've got 5 pi over 12. Okay. I'm going to have to measure that by 180 degrees over pi. All right. So my pi's are going to cancel out. And let's see. What goes into 12 and 8? I'm thinking 6. So that's going to give me 2. And that's going to give me 30. 5 times 30 is 150 divided by 2 would be 75 degrees. Let's try that on our calculator. So we're going to have 5 control divide over 4, and then times control divide, and we're going to put the 180 up top, and instead of pi, we're just going to put 1 there. And what do we get? 225? Well, I must not have done that right. That's easy. 6 goes, that would be 30. That's 150 divided by 2. Oh, I put a 4 down there. I should have put a 12, right? 5 over 12. 75 degrees. All right, 75 degrees. Good deal. Let's try this. Now, this is degrees here, okay? So this time we're going to spin it around. We're going to put pi over 180 degrees, okay? So we go to our calculator. We got 215 times control divide. We're going to put 1 over 180 so that we can leave it in. That's going to be 43. So that's going to give you 43 pi over, was that 60? 36. 36. 36. Okay. All right. Radians. Okay. Stop the video and you try number 12. And when you get back, we'll do it together. Glad you're back. Let's see. We've got negative control divide 29 over 18 times, and then we're going to put 180 over 1, and that gives you negative 290. So this is negative 290 degrees. All right. You try number 13, and when you get back, I'll give you the answer. Glad you're back. I got negative pi radians. Negative pi radians. That's a terrible looking pi. Negative pi. There we go. All right. You try number 14. You try number 14. And I got 300 degrees. That's right. Both of those two are right. You know, I think negative 7 pi over 6. Is that right off the thing? Let's see here. So that's 180 degrees over pi. The pi's cancel. That's a 1. That's a 30. I got negative 210 degrees. How'd you do? Oh, San Antonio, Texas is located about 30 degrees north of the equator. If Earth's radius is about 3,959 miles, approximately how many miles is San Antonio from the equator? Okay, so let's see here. I think first what I need to do is I need to draw me a little thing here. Let's see. Because I always work better with a little visual here. I'm not sure why, but I do. Okay, so there's the equator right there. We'll see the x-axis is the equator. And let's see, 30 degrees north. I'm thinking that's going to be 30 degrees north. I'm thinking that's going to be like right in there, right? And 30 degrees, that is like pi over 6, right? Pi over 6. If the Earth's radius is about 3,955 miles, how many miles is San Antonio from the equator? So it's saying that this right here is 3,959 miles. Okay, and if this is only this far up, okay, it's pi over 6, I'm thinking we've got 3,959 times pi over 6. See what we get. Now let's go to our calculator. 3,959 times, and I'm going to put pi over 6, and I get 2,072.9. I'm just going to say 2,073 miles. 2,073 miles. All right, good job on 7-1. Good job on 7-1. Let's try 7-2. Defining and evaluating basic trigonometric functions. So find the measure of the reference angle for each given angle. Okay. To do this, we need to, well, let me get a little thing here. You know, perhaps if I made one of those drawings, that might make it a little bit easier. Let's see here. And let's see, we got that right there. And we got this right. Oh, I probably want a little, maybe a little, that's all right. And then I need my circle. I need my circle. And let's see here. Okay, that's not exactly perfect, but it'll do. 220 degrees, where's that at? So we start here, 0, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270. So it's too far. Let's see, 180, let's see, 220 minus 180, 220 minus 180, I get like 40. Okay, so we know that's not quite halfway there. So that's going to be, and we're saying that this here is the initial side. The initial side. All right. And this here is the terminal side. And we go around here, okay, and we know that is theta equals 220 degrees. Now it's asking for the reference angle. All right, the reference angle is the, let's see, the reference angle is the nearest x-axis. All right, and that would be this negative side over here. Okay, that would be the nearest. That would be the nearest. All right, so how far is it? How far is it from here to there? Well, that's 220. That would be 220 degrees minus 180 degrees equals 40 degrees. So there's your reference angle, 40 degrees. All right. Number 2. Let's try number 2. And I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I'm not going to erase everything, but just kind of clean it up a little bit. Get rid of that. And let's see here. Put my axis back in there. And put this axis back on there. And 11 pi over 6. Okay, 11 pi over 6. Well, if you do it in pies, this is 0, and that's pi over 2, and this is just pi, and that's 3 pi over 2, and this here would be 2 pi. All right, well, 11/6, 2 minus 11/6 is just pi over 6, 1/6, right? So that's going to be right there. Okay, that's going to be right there. Now this again, this here is my terminal side. That's my initial side, and it goes all the way around to this right here. Okay, my reference angle this time is going to be, let me get a different color here. It's going to be the positive x-axis. All right, it's going to be this area right here. Okay, so how far is it from here to here? How far is it from there to there? And that's just pi over 6. Okay, and you might say it's from here to there, pi over 6. What about negative 235 degrees? Well, we know this is 180. We know that's 270. So the closest one is going to be 180. So let's take 180 minus, is it 235? Minus 235, and that equals 55. So my reference angle here is going to be 55 degrees. Okay. Negative 2 pi over 3, where's that at? Negative 2 pi over 3. So you go this way here, that would be negative pi over 2. This is negative pi. So it would be in here, right? Okay, so we're going to have pi minus 2 pi over 3, and that's just going to give you pi over 3. And if you were doing it in your calculator, 1 pi minus 2 pi over 3 gives you 1/3, so pi over 3. Okay, well, what about 590 degrees? Okay, we start here, and that's 360. So let's see, 590 minus 360 is going to be 230. That's going to be in here, 230. So 230 minus 180, 230 minus 180 gives you 50 degrees. 50 degrees. And then negative 13 pi over 4. You try that one there, and when you get back, I'll give you the answer. All right, I got pi over 4. Good job. Find the exact value of each trigonometric function. All right, let's see here. How do we do that? The exact cosine 120 degrees. These are ones you can do in a calculator. Trig, cosine 120 degrees. Enter. And that's going to be negative 1/2. Negative 1/2. Though that's also on what do you call it? That is also on the unit circle. Sine 4 pi over 3, again, that's on the unit circle. But if, in case you don't remember, we can go in here and we sine and then control divide 4 pi over 3. And that gives you negative 0.866, which is negative the square root of 3 over 2. Now, negative 0.866 is an approximation. That's an approximation. They're going to want to know the exact solution. Okay? Sine 585 degrees. Let's see. Sine 585 degrees. Enter. Whoa! Negative 707. So that's going to be negative the square root of 2 over 2. Okay. All right. Negative 0.707. Memorize those. It'll save you a lot of time. Tangent 765 degrees. Let's just put that in there, see what we get. Tangent 765 degrees. 0.9999, we're just going to say that's 1. All right. Cosine 9 pi over 2. That's probably cosine 9 pi. Control, oh, golly, I hate when I do that. Control divide over 2. That's probably going to give you, yeah, that is 0. That is 0. All right, tangent, negative 5 pi over 6. Tangent, negative 5 pi. Control divide over 6. Oh, negative 5, or that's 5.77. Wonder why it's like that. 5 pi over 6. I bet if you drew your unit circle, 5 pi, remember this is pi right here, so 5 pi over 6 is that right there. What is that point right there? Okay, and let's see here. What is it? So cosine, let's see here. Cosine 5 pi over 6. Ooh, that was cosine, that was negative 5 pi over 6, which is where? Well, let's see. Negative 5 pi. Control divide 6 at negative 8.66. All right. That's actually over here. I misspoke. That's right in there. Okay. And that's, remember this one here is negative square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2, negative 1/2. No, it can't be, because that would give you positive. So it is right here. I was right. That's negative square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. Okay. So how do we get that? That's going to be 1/2 divided by negative square root of 3 over 2, which is 1/2 times negative 2 over the square root of 3. Those cancel out, and it gives you 1 over negative 1 over the square root of 3. Well, they would both be negative. So it was down here. It is down here. Those are both negative. Negative square root of 3 over 2 and negative 1/2. All right. Okay, that's right. So that gives you positive, and then times that by the square root of 3 over the square root of 3, and that gives you the square root of 3 over 3, and that's your solution. All right. So that's how we got that. Use a calculator to evaluate each trigonometric function. Round to 4 decimal places. Okay. So here we're just going to go in and we're going to put sine 170 degrees, 170 degrees, and that gives us 0.1736. 0.1736. All right, and y'all can do the rest of those in your calculator. That's negative 0.8391, negative 0.8660, and here is 0.3256. You know, this is even on your cell phone calculator, 0.4663. And this one here is 0.8090. All right, not a problem. Let's look at number 19. Find the exact coordinates of a point on a circle with a radius of 12.5 at an angle of 180 degrees. Well, what is 180 degrees? That's pi, isn't it? Okay. That 180 degrees, that's right here. That's right there. And let's see, that is, well, it's negative 1 and 0, right? Negative 1 and 0. And it has a radius of 12.5. So 12.5 times negative 1 gives you negative 12.5. And 12.5 times 0 is just 0. All right, good. Find the exact coordinates of a point on a circle with a radius of 7 at an angle of 5 pi over 4. Okay, 5 pi over 4. That's going to be, where is that at? That's 5 pi over 4. Well, that's 0 and that's pi. So 5 pi over 4 is going to be over here, right? And these those coordinates there are negative the square root of 2 over 2 and negative the square root of 2 over 2. All right. So if we have a radius of 7, we're going to multiply both of those by 7, and that's going to give you negative 7 times the square root of 2 over 2 and negative 7 square root of 2 over 2. And there's those points. Great job on 17.2. Let's do 17.3. Use the given value to calculate the values of the indicated trigonometric functions. Round your answers to 3 decimal places. All right. This is what we did in class today. Okay, we were doing that in class today. So let's take a look at it. I think we need a little real estate here. And what do we got? So, well, 0 to pi over 2, that is the first coordinate, quadrant. Remember, we got our thing here, and that's right here, okay? That's 0, and that is pi over 2. So that's the first quadrant. In the first quadrant, we got positive and positive, okay? So sine is going to be positive, and cosine is already positive. All right. Now we got to use that identity. Sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. So we've got sine squared theta plus, and then we're going to put 0.707 squared equals 1. So sine squared theta equals 1 minus 0.707 squared. So sine theta equals, we're going to take the square root of that. So let's go to our trusty rusty calculator. Square root 1 minus 0.707 close squared, and we get 0.707. 0.707. So sine theta equals 0.707. Do y'all recognize that? Okay. Do y'all recognize that? On your unit circle, that's this one right here, right there. That was the square root of 2 over 2 and the square root of 2 over 2. All right. And we'll just for giggles, we'll try that. Control, divide, and we'll put 2 over 2 at 0.707. Okay, see how close it was? That's real close. All right. Let's try number 2. Okay, let's try number 2. What do we do first? We figure out pi and 3 pi over, that is going to be quadrant 3. Okay, so sine theta is going to be negative and cosine theta, both of them are negative. Okay, so our final answer, both of them will be negative. So the sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. We're going to put this in here as negative 0.866 squared plus cosine squared theta equals 1. So we're going to get cosine squared theta equals 1 minus negative 0.866 squared. So cosine theta equals, and let's take the square root, and we got 1 minus negative 0.866 squared. 0.5 equals 0.5. Okay, and since this is negative, our answer is going to be cosine theta equals negative 0.5. Okay, there we go. Did we do that on the other one too? Yeah. I just probably didn't mention it quite as well as I should. Oh, now we're given tangent theta. This would be fun. All right, let's see here. We got to do 2 this time, okay? We're given tangent theta, and this is between 0 and pi over 2. That's quadrant 1. So this is going to be positive, and this is going to be positive. Quadrant 1, they're both positive. So we got, remember, tangent theta equals sine theta divided by cosine theta. So we're going to multiply both sides by cosine theta, and we get cosine theta times tangent theta equals sine theta. Well, let's see here. We're going to substitute this in for tangent theta. So we have cosine theta times 1.072 equals sine theta. All right. Now we're going to come back over here and we're going to say, well, I'm going to do this in purple here. Sine. You can't really tell the difference, can you? What if I did it in gold? UT orange. Sine theta. All right. So we're going to have sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. All right. Now we're going to put this in here for sine theta. So now we're going to have, let's see here. We got, I'm going to put 1.072 times cosine theta. And I'm going to square that plus cosine squared theta equals 1. Now 1.072 squared, 1.072 squared is 1.1492. 1.1492, and then cosine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. Now this is like 1. Okay, it's 1 cosine. So we're going to add those together. 2.1492 cosine squared theta equals 1. We're going to divide both sides. Cosine squared theta equals 1 over 2.1492. Take the square root of both sides. So cosine theta equals, and let's see, the square root 1 over, and that's going to be 2.1492, and that gives me 0.6821. 0.6821. Now let's see, cosine theta is positive, so cosine theta equals 0.6821. Now I'm going to substitute that in here, 0.6821, and then I'm going to multiply that times 1.072, and that will equal sine theta. So let's see, 0.6821 times 1.072, it gives me 0.7312. 0.7312 equals sine theta. Now sine is going to be positive here, so I got sine theta equals 0.7312. Number 4. All right, I'd like for y'all to stop the video and try number 4 on your own. Okay, and then when you get back, I will show you how it's done. All right. I'm glad you're back. So I've got sine squared theta equals 1 minus negative 0.485 squared. So sine theta equals, and let's take the square root of that. Square root of 1 minus, open parentheses, and that was negative, wasn't it? Negative 0.485, is that right? And then squared, and that gives me 0.8745. 0.8745. Now I'm between pi over 2 and pi, so I am in the third quadrant, and sine is negative, or sine is positive there. So I've got sine theta equals 0.8745. Good job. Number 5. I'd like for you to try it on your own. Okay, and then when you get back, you can check your work against what I did. All right, let's see. What do we got here? We got negative 0.087 cosine theta equals sine theta, and that's going to give us negative 0.087 cosine theta squared plus cosine squared theta equals 1. Did a little shortcut there. All right. So what do we got? Open parentheses, negative 0.087 squared, and it's 0.007576 cosine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. So now I got 1.0076 cosine squared theta equals 1. So cosine theta equals, and we're going to take the square root, and I got 1 over 1.00, that's 76, and that gives me 0.9962. All right, and now I'm going to, let's see, so I got negative 0.087 times 0.9962 equals sine theta. 0.9962 times, and let's see, what was that? Negative 0.087, and that gives me negative 0.087 67. Negative 0.0867 equals sine theta. Now let's check our signs. We're in quadrant 4, okay? In quadrant 4, cosine is positive and sine is negative. So cosine theta is 0.9962 and sine theta is negative 0.0867. Good job. 6. I'm just going to give you the answers. I'd like for you to stop the video and then try it, and I'll give you when you get back, the answers will be here for you. I've got cosine theta equals negative 0.866, and it says that's going to be quadrant 2 here. That's going to be quadrant 3. So quadrant 2, cosine is negative, and that's positive. Quadrant 3, they're both negative. And so 7, I got cosine theta equals negative 0.559. Okay. Number 8, the instant at which a waxed wood block on an inclined plane of wet snow begins to slide is represented by the equation mg sine theta equals mu mg cosine theta, where theta represents the angle of the plane and mu is the coefficient of friction. If cosine, what is cosine theta? If mu is 0.52 and sine theta is 0.461. So we've got this equation right here. Let's set this equation up. What do we got? We've got mg sine theta, that's going to be 0.461 equals 0.52 mg cosine theta. All right, if we divide both sides by mg, we get 0.461 equals 0.52 cosine theta. If we divide both sides by 0.52, so let's go here. We got 0.461 divided by 0.52. That gives you 0.8865. So 0.8865 equals cosine theta. All right, good job. Good luck on the test tomorrow, and y'all have a great evening.